More than half of Americans are prioritizing disposable income on travel this year. That's according to a survey commissioned by Priceline. Join us now to talk travel trends ahead of the 2023 spring break season. Brett Keller is the CEO of Priceline. Brett, thanks for joining us. I guess we go through stages, don't we? After the pandemic, it was like, I think people had some money, and what are they going to spend it on? Travel. Even if things start being not quite as flush as they were after that, what are you going to spend it on? Well, what I have left, I'm still going to spend on travel. Have you seen any slowdown whatsoever, or we're still trying to work off that feeling that I haven't done enough traveling during the pandemic? You're still working that off, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, according to the numbers, that's what's happening. People are still working on that burn off. January came out of the gates very strong, and we're looking forward to, I think, a very productive year. Things can be very turbulent at times in travel, but so far, despite what people are saying and even what we're hearing in other industries, travel continues to be a top priority for consumers.
Do you think that business ever comes back to the extent? Do you care? Is it a zero-sum game, or would it be additive to the way it's happening right now for you?
Yeah, business travel would absolutely be additive. We primarily focus on leisure, but there are a number of small businesses that use our services, of course, to move around the country and to conduct business. So a healthy business economy is good for the travel industry.
What has to happen there? Is it a new normal, never coming back to the way it was? I mean, everybody can still Zoom.
A year and a half ago, that's what we thought. We thought we'll be lucky if we get back to 60 or 70% of what we saw, pre-pandemic. But in 2022, it recovered nicely, closer to, 70% of prior travel demand. So our expectation now is within the next 1 to 2 years, we could see a full recovery in business and leisure, of course, significantly higher than where we were in 19.
Brett, how does the current environmental backdrop affect you? How do you deal with inflation? How does it affect your business? What about higher interest rates?
Sure. Well, it's had a very big impact on the prices consumers are paying. So, for example, as we look ahead at spring break, we look at what Priceline travelers are paying for flights, and we've seen that average flight prices are up almost 25% over last year as we look into the spring break. Hotels, not so bad, but hotels have been running very hot all through 2021 and 2022. They're starting to slow down a little bit, but even in January, hotel prices were up 15%. Looking to spring break, they've come down a little bit, more like 4 to 5% over where we were last year. Consumers are absorbing that and paying those prices. So until we start to see a slowdown in that demand, I think our supply partners are going to keep their prices relatively high to make up for whatever shortfalls in demand they may feel.
But you wouldn't see it negatively impact your results, do you? It gets passed along, or your margins squeezed? Does that happen in the way you operate?
Well, when we have more room in terms of the average selling price, we try to take as much of that as we can and return it to the customer in terms of lower prices. That is something that we've done historically. Take whatever value we can and return it to the customer to get a better deal. But so that does help the bottom line over the long term as those prices rise.